let's have a bit of meaningful discussion, and I'll really look forward to your comments on this as regards to what you think about what all this means and where we are and whether it's all hype or bullshit, or actually whether or not you're going to stick playing your Mario LCD handheld games and say bollocks to next gen, current gen, whatever gen. You know, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 have now been out for about 3 months, or just over 3 months now. And what's happened in 3 months? Well, not a fat lot, if we're being honest. You know, the Xbox One has had a bit of a price cut, and there hasn't really been much else that's gone on apart from all the fanboy bullshit about resolution and how powerful the PlayStation 4 is, or how great the Xbox One is, or how awesome Kinect is, and blah 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 blah. Absolute utter bollocks. At the end of the day, this is only ever about the games, in my opinion. Okay, it's nice to have a new shiny bit of plastic, and it's nice to think that new shiny bit of plastic is all encompassing and all powerful, but you know, this early on in the console's lifespan, you know, we're not going to see anything new in reality, really. You know, a bit of extra crispness around the resolutions, and actually there's been a lot of I won't even call it banter, because it hasn't even been banter. There's been a load of bullshit that's been going on the internet about this resolution gate between the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And I'm going to rip that argument a new arsehole. I'm not going to do it here, but I'm going to do it on a future video. Sort to explain a bit about the reality of that, and how little really these minor differences in resolution actually make to the gaming experience. So I'm not going to blow my load and go into that now. I'll go into that on a future video. So, you know, right here, right now, what's the situation with next gen? Sorry, current gen now. It's actually called current gen, isn't it? Compared to the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. I'm just going to cut to the chase and just get on with it. It doesn't matter how much cash I've spent, you know, on these consoles. I would recommend, at the moment, it is not worth buying a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. A, they're pretty expensive for what they are, and are you actually getting a better gaming experience? Apart from the exclusives that are coming out on both the Xbox One or already out the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, that is the only reason that I would say you'd have to go out and buy one. Well, not have to, but you should consider buying one. If you compare a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360 game, you know, multi-platform, against the equivalent that's on the Xbox One or PlayStation 4, are you really getting that much of a different game? No, of course you're bloody not. It's the same game. It looks slightly prettier, but it's one of those things that actually, once you actually start playing a game, you get into the game, then any minor differences, you know, and at the moment, folks, they are pretty minor. I mean, anyone that sits there and goes, oh yeah, it's a massive step in graphical, you know, it's absolute bollocks. I suspect over time, the difference and improvements that can be made on the current gen will start to happen, and we'll start to see that, but we're not going to see that yet. You know, it's going to be another 12-18 months time. Again, there's a lot of promises this year. There's going to be so much more released, or there's going to be all these new games coming out for the current gen, and it's going to be, you know, worlds apart from the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And I know some of you guys are sort of, you know, on the fence a bit about getting next gen or whatever, but I would personally say don't bother at the moment. You know, the Wii U is in a similar situation, but slightly different. It's in a similar situation in the fact it's got hardly any games out for it, which will be the death of that system, you know, without a shadow of a doubt. If you can guarantee anything for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, there will be loads of games coming out for those two platforms. For the Wii U, yeah, not so sure about that one, to be honest. But the games that are out for it, as regards to exclusives, are great games. But again, is it worth having a system that's only got 3 or 4 sort of great exclusives on there. Yeah, okay, there are more coming out, but it's, you know, it is a debatable question, that one. You know, is it worth doing that? I think that console's in a slightly different place than the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One for different reasons, but when it comes down to games, they're all at the same sort of level. You know, there's hardly anything out at the moment on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and to be honest, is that to be expected? Yes, of course it is. You know, they've only been out a few months, so hopefully over the next 12-18 months they'll mature into much better gaming platforms. But at the moment, it's a bit of a no-brainer for me. Stick with the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. I'm still buying software for those two consoles, and I've looked at back-to-back comparisons that I've done myself, not looking at YouTube videos, of the same multi-platform game over 3 platforms actually. And I was going to do some videos of that now, but what's the point? It's all over the internet. And yes, there are differences, but it's negligible. So yeah. I would really be interested in hearing what your views are, guys. I think I've got a sort of gut feeling from the people who subscribe to my channel what they're going to reply back. But as ever, thanks for watching my video, guys. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll speak to you again soon.